Welcome everyone to the Island Life Podcast, where we journey onto the island of discovery to relive some of the best and worst moments of Survivor. My name is Will, an experienced Survivor fan, 47 seasons deep, and I will be your guide. And joining us on this adventure is our rising Survivor fan with 10 seasons under her belt, and
Hello. Happy to be back.
And of course, we also welcome the star of our show. He is the brand new Survivor fan who just finished his second season of the show. I give you Survivor F.
Howdy, folks. It's your fan favorite Survivor F. Happy to be here.
And I'm happy that we got the band back together for a also exciting, but I think calming down a bit from the chaos that was last week's episode.
Oh my gosh, last week's episode was crazy. I was on the edge of my seat watching that. It was crazy. I was not expecting anything, and it was just bad after bad chaos.
Speaking of, you were not here to break the tie for us. F and I debated on whose mistakes were worse, Cedric's or Justin's. Do you have an opinion on this matter?
I personally think it's Cedric. I think Cedric, why would you pick Say to come with you? Like, Say is not going to be wanting to work with you after you have voted her twice. Like, you were the one that, like, she's not going to trust you at all after this. Like, why would you do that? Versus Justin, I do understand that Justin made a mistake of not telling anybody or Cedric, his number one, about it. But it's like, come on. Like, out of the two people, I trust Justin way more. Justin is so chill, nonchalant. He won't be out there talking and yapping away and putting me under a bus. But Say, I can't trust her. So I think Cedric made a big mistake. I know Justin. I know you're very not happy about Justin, if I remember recalling that on the last episode. But, Justin's just a chill dude. So I get it. He didn't fight for it, but that's him. He's not like Say. They're different.
Say just had too much to say, and that won Cedric over.
I agree. And I guess they could enjoy pizza together in the future, and a month later.
Yeah, a month out.
Enjoy pizza
Better
as a
on the
loser.
Oh
Ugh.
my. Oh.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just it's not a good way to go out. And Justin, come on, man, you could do better than that.
So that was last week. We go to this week, and a lot still happened, but to me, breath of fresh air, because we actually get strategy that I can process, I can understand, and executed well from multiple sides of people battling each other. I was very happy.
Yeah, I
What the
feel like you
conundrum?
definitely see it. I know. I feel like I didn't like that they split, like, have the three tribes, they remix it and everything. But at the same time, you do see some people that were kind of like hidden a little bit coming out, and like you see their strategy, what their thoughts were. And I think that is nice.
And again, we get to see a lot of Vula, right? We get to see Vula back in action,
Vula.
back under fire. But
New
for
Vula or
most
old Vula?
at this point, does it even matter?
I know. At this
Vula
point,
all
it's
the same.
just put down your Vula buffs, guys. Those at home, you know who I'm talking about. Put them away. Hide
4
them.
weeks straight. But the strategy in play was definitely better than in the previous episodes. And partly that was because the members of this new Vula tribe are not originally from Vula. So all I could say is this green tribe is cursed. Whether we continue to see them head into all these all these votes, it's yet to be determined. But 4 weeks in and 4 different tribals, not a good start.
So bad. It's sad to see Vula not getting a dub after Shaheen saying, like, let's get this dub for Vula.
Oh,
and I was
yeah,
feeling
they
pretty
came in-
confident. Oh,
They came in hot. They were ready for it. And the after they lose, and now they're facing the prospect of going to tribal. We might have seen bad gameplay. It could have happened because it's been 9 days, and they haven't even gone. No one's gone to tribal other than original Vula. So no one's had practice. No one's really had to think about it seriously. So this is all their first times, but they do a great job. So that's where we're gonna start. The main attraction of this episode was the battle between the California girls and Kyle and Camilla. This is a product of the tribe swap, where we get the 3 original Lagi
Loggy.
members together, which ends up being Thomas, Shaheen, and Joe. And also on their tribe, we get 2 original Siva members of Kyle and Camilla. So in the beginning, it's 3 versus 2. Of course, both sides have secret weapons at their disposal. So let's start with what actually worked in this episode. The most powerful advantage available was the hidden immunity idol via the beware advantage that Kyle has. And there's a couple different ways this could have played out. What do you guys think of the plan? Nearly falls apart because the California girls decide, let's just check his bag real quick.
I'm, like, shocked. I haven't seen someone being, like, checking on other I mean, we did see it. Did we see it in, like, last season they tried to do that? However, like, it's crazy 'cause we kinda talked about Thomas being, like, a semi-villainous, like, player trying to not give like, throw away Star's, like, clue, and Shaheen's like, "No, I'm not gonna do that," and seeing that Thomas is, like, a villainous here, and he's doing it. He's like, "Go check the bag." But he doesn't do it though. He's like, "Shaheen, go check the bag." And Shaheen's like checking the bag, going through it. I was shocked by it. Right in front of Camilla. Like right in front of him. I think the biggest brain would have been doing it in front of Camilla to show Camilla, we trust you, you're safe, but to vote Camilla out. Like that would have been a crazy big brain move from them.
Yeah, why get your hands dirty when you can have someone else do it for you?
That is
And
Thomas. And
tracking.
I think he suggested like Shaheen to throw the clue out. Like like for Star. So that's a common thing
Yeah,
Thomas did.
yeah, just floating the idea with him. And to for Camilla, right? Like one thing that we observe from her is her connection to Kyle, right? They're the Guyanese combo, the 1-2 punch. Not only is she responsible for him getting that hidden immunity, she essentially solved it for him, but then
It's
she is
true.
so willing, she's so confident to be able to swing their vote to her or to him away from her so that they can bait out his hidden immunity and they can essentially turn the tables on the California girls. And watching the plan unfold was just a thing of brilliance.
Yeah.
It involves a lot of acting on both their parts to be able to commit to their act and be able to showcase the other tribe members that, hey, we've been on the same tribe, but we don't necessarily see eye to eye. The relationship hasn't fully built yet. So there are cracks that you can take advantage of, and we're willing to throw the other person under the bus. So the fact
Yeah.
that they were able to relay that to the California girls, obviously they bought it.
Yeah, it was very good, and they did that from the very beginning, like how Camilla's like, "I'm in the bottom in my old tribe," and then Kyle's just like, "What do you mean? Like, we've been fine," and then they just kinda had this argument where everyone else is like, "Yeah, it's clear to say that they're not close and they're not gonna work together." Meanwhile, they are the closest ally, and, you kinda see that they work really well together. Like, Camilla trusts like, they have a great relationship, Kyle and Camilla, and it's
Yeah.
very, very nice to see because there's like total trust. Like these two people have total trust on one another. She was gonna give like Kyle her was it like her extra vote? Like it was just like you take it, here
Yeah.
it is. And that's a lot of trust to put in on somebody because it could have been her. And she was like, nope, he's gonna use the idol on him. And it is very refreshing. My only thing is that now the cat is out of this box. People know they work together. I mean, at least in Vula, they know, but it's also gonna spread out. Like people are gonna know. So I wonder how if they make it to merge, how is that gonna work? Because people are gonna be like, they're so close, they're so tight, they're never gonna work with anyone else. So might as well take them out. So I wonder how is this like by exposing how close they are gonna affect them in the future.
Yeah,
I
it's a good thought.
guess they the plan A is no one gets voted out from original Siva, so they return, and then they'll deal basically keep on making it a future problem because in the beginning you're Siva strong, and then by the time it becomes a problem, hopefully you've brought someone in to make it a 3-person alliance. I mean, but definitely in this for this tribal, it was worth letting the cat out of the bag because your
For
other
sure. It
option,
was for sure.
yeah, either of them could have decided, I'd rather take guaranteed safety versus trying to keep it together. Like Camilla could have revealed everything about Kyle in an
Oh, no.
attempt to guarantee they vote for him in a blind side, and then she could have told Kyle not to play it. Kyle could have done something similar to get out Camilla. They go with it's a simple plan, but it is dangerous for Camilla. It is not so dangerous for Kyle because he's ultimately going to play the idol no matter what, so he's not going home. But for Camilla, if their deception fails, they almost certainly will vote for you because they are going to assume Kyle's going to protect himself. I don't think they would plan on Kyle using the idol on her. So it's like a simple but a scary plan. You need to be perfect with all your interactions. And I mean, they were great.
They were. They
Agreed.
played it flawlessly.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved being able to see, as Angela said, it was a breath of fresh air, just being able to see them bounce off one another, to have that
Well, first
level
of
of
all,
trust.
I said that.
Well, she enforced that point, and then I forgot that you had originally said it. But let's just say we all said it because
I said
ultimately,
it.
no, okay, I'm going to say I said it, but
No.
even though I spoke on it last. But yeah, so to be able to bounce off ideas off each other and to be subtle, right? Like they understand they're on an island and the others could hear them. I like the aspect of being able to sneak around and have those dialogues, but then also stay away from each other and know what they're going to tell the other tribes members. So I love seeing that in Survivor, to be able to have a connection with someone where at the end of the day, only one person is going to win, but you're able to build a strong enough connection where you have that unbridled trust in someone to be able to push through it with you. So this is more trust on Camilla's part, but Kyle definitely did support her. She wouldn't have been able to see that plan to fruition had Kyle not done his part. So love to see that. I would continue to wish for both of their success and to see them make it post merge, to see what else they're capable of and how they continue to adapt over the course of the game.
Now,
Yeah, they
Thomas,
definitely adapted.
Shaheen, and Joe, they also do mostly correct moves here. They the what you wait as the majority here, you want to split up the two other people and promise both of them that hey, you're gonna be with us. Your goal is that they don't vote together. That way that opens up pretty much all the options. It's gonna be no hope for them. Because they also wouldn't it's not ideal if they play their shot if one of them plays a shot in the dark. Um you'd prefer to just have them vote for each other and leave it at that. I do wonder for that scene where they look through Kyle's bag. You mentioned it would be a great alternate timeline if that purpose of that was to make uh Camilla feel perfectly comfortable. Uh I think the logical conclusion then is if they want to vote out Kyle, they should have staged it the other way around. They should have been sitting with Kyle and then looked through Camilla's bag.
Yeah.
And then Kyle would feel comfortable, and then they would vote for Kyle. So perhaps you could argue that that's one thing, but what's more likely though is this was not a actual premeditated plan. Is the problem? This was just Thomas spur of the moment, like let's check his bag, let's just do it, and it so
Yeah.
happened that Camilla was there.
Ugh. And the fact that Thomas went home with an advantage too. I mean, I know like when you're watching it, it's like more obvious because you're calculating it. You know it when you're playing it. It's totally different. But like if he had his vote, then it would, and they split it off just in case for an idol, it would have played so differently. I felt like.
Oh yeah, no. If so, just only looking from the group perspective, the three of them. If Thomas used to steal a vote, and then collectively they have 4 votes, they can split 2 and 2, and then whether an idol is played or not, there's only going to be 1 vote against any of them, so they're going to win out on that. The unless actually asterisk, the only risk is that one of them has a actual idol and the other one plays and hits shot in the dark. Because then they're both
That's true.
safe and it's gonna come down to you guys. But you can only plan for so many things, I suppose. The main problem that Thomas voices, and we saw this last season, Sam and Andy, he does not want to. He's successfully kept his advantage secret, and he doesn't want to surprise them at tribal. Like, actually, I had this advantage all along, and I didn't tell you. He's trying to avoid that scenario.
But I feel like that wouldn't be an issue. I feel like those guys would be happy for him, be like, "Okay, good. I think we should use that," or something like I just felt like in this case, and you know how I'm always like, throughout the whole thing, I'm always excited when people don't tell other people about their advantages, and I'm, like, excited about it. But I feel like in this episode and last episodes, one of those times where I'm like, "Tell people. Tell the people you trust about your advantages. Please." I'm like, this is like, I don't know why, back-to-back episodes, I'm like, "Please just tell somebody you trust. Please. Why are we not talking?" And then here we go. They go home and well, not advantage. I guess Justin didn't have an advantage. He had a disadvantage, but I just want them to share it because that builds trust on that part. So I don't know. It's just so
But I
complicated.
guess the trouble is, like, he got this advantage like many days ago. And at that point, perhaps he is not ready. Like, maybe the trust level isn't so high he would want to share it. Now, in present day, the trust level is high enough, but it's like a sunk cost. Like, I already have kept the secret. I don't want
Ugh.
to reveal it now. It's like I forgot your name, but now like we've seen each other too many times in the hallway that it's too embarrassing to ask your name. So I
That's
can just
funny.
never do it. So like his plan is never to, and I guess ultimately like if he felt he was in danger, he would definitely do it. But he's thinking it's more likely than not that our plan will work with just the 3 of our votes. So I'd rather not risk angering my alliance mates.
Yeah. Did you guys like him? Like Thomas? Like, what are you guys' thoughts about like Thomas? Did we like him? Not like him?
He's an interesting personality. So he is entertaining to watch. We didn't get to see enough of his plans actually in action. So there is some aspect where if I'm asked if would I want to see him again, that's a question that does tend to pop up. Yeah, he's one of those characters that I wouldn't mind seeing again because he has some creative ideas. He's got that cutthroat nature behind the scenes. We haven't fully seen him explore that yet, and even how he walked away, he was very he was a good sport. Like it was good sportsmanship on his part. He didn't really take it the wrong way. He went in for a hug with everyone. Even in his behind the scenes afterwards, he was talking about how grateful he was for the opportunity. So the Thomas that we saw play Survivor was trying to be a more cutthroat person than what he revealed himself to be at the very end. So I'm trying to understand who Thomas really is, what aspect of his personality works, and how essentially he was trying to set himself up for the game. I don't think we really got a chance to see that.
I like how you
I'm
say it like that.
I encourage you though to really focus on who's the real who's the real survivor Thomas, because that's what's going to matter in the game. And I mostly liked everything Thomas did and his strategies without action. Like he was gathering information and gathering power and intended to unleash them when the time is right. However, it is fair to say, I think, that his decision to deceive his tribe about the journey, which we probably praised at the time, is why he's going home. Because Kyle and Camilla are trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat here. And ultimately, they're going to pick someone to target, someone who they don't know. All three of them are new people. But really, the only piece of information they have is, hey, I figured out that Thomas lied about his journey. That
Yeah.
could imply, not like, I don't care. He didn't lie to me. I wasn't his tribe, but that suggests the type of player he is. That he might deceive me one day. I don't want to be deceived. And then
That's
they
true.
target him.
And put some doubt in there. And I love it, actually. I credit to Camilla of I always think about, like, when they do these challenges, when you're sitting out, use this time. Benefit from this time to talk to people that are also out and chilling around. And she did that. She talked to Star during the challenge and was able to get some information and intel from it, and then use that to her advantage and kind of, put some doubt and worry with the other tribe mates, with Joe and Shaheen. It didn't, work as greatly in the end, but still it did kind of like ruffle some stuff where Shaheen's like, hey, did I was told about this, like, did you lie? Obviously Thomas said, no, of course not. She's trying to cause doubt, but I was just like impressed that, she used her time being out of the challenge by communicating with other people in the tribe. I thought that was very smart.
Yeah,
Yes.
it felt like a kind of like a plan B, or actually probably plan A. Plan A is probably, I don't know anything about Lagi. For all I know, there's like cracks that they would be willing to turn on each other. So let me just poke the bear here and see what happens. It turns out that there's not big enough cracks to do anything. So then Kyle and Camilla go with the plan they go with.
Yeah,
Yeah, California girls, too
it
strong.
just got glossed over, right? Like, just bringing that up to them, and then Shaheen immediately going to Thomas and trying to confirm with him whether or not what Camilla was saying was true. And Thomas, like, he wasn't going to outright admit that, hey, yeah, no, I lied to you guys. He was going to try to find a way to put the pressure back on her. And we saw it. We saw that out of the three, he's the one who wanted her gone, whereas the other two were more receptive towards trying to get Kyle eliminated. But I think it just goes to show that if there is a player of the episode, for me, it definitely is Camilla. Her
Mhm.
team didn't win necessarily, but everything she did ended up, they were on the bottom. Despite those advantages, things could have gone sour for them, her and Kyle. But she was able to turn things around due to her planning, due to how she worked with Kyle, even her acting, right? Even, I'm sure, it caught Kyle by surprise too, when she was essentially trying to instill into the other tribe members that she was at the bottom of Siva. So it all worked as well as it could go for her and Kyle.
Yeah,
By
and
the
even if
way,
they yeah.
just housekeeping here. Yes, California girls get idled out because they all vote together. But it despite the criticism, if you're only gonna have 3 votes, it's not it's debatable whether you want to split your vote. So vote 2 and 1. If you vote, let's just say 2 votes Kyle and 1 vote Camilla. If they don't think he has it, but if it turns out that Kyle either does have the idol or hits shot in the dark, actually specifically if he has the idol, then their 2 votes are gonna outvote you. So it's kind of the same thing. If they use shot in the dark, then they only have 1 vote, so that's nice. Um, but from what talking it out, I think voting 2, like splitting your vote versus voting all together, in this case the outcomes are all gonna be the same basically. So I don't criticize for voting together
I just feel
unless I'm
like,
missing something.
but what if they, like, but if Thomas used his advantage, it would have been 2-2. too.
Yes.
You know,
If
so
instead of 3 votes, they were gonna use the steal a vote. So, and because remember, not just an extra vote, it's a steal a vote.
yeah,
Well, that is a guaranteed win. Then there's nothing. The only thing that can go wrong is one of them plays an idol and the other one hits shot in the dark.
yeah.
But that's. I mean, I do like being prepared. I don't know if there's a way to foolproof against that happening.
I think the foolproof is just playing like how they usually play and not being so aggressively obvious who they were gonna go for. I feel like they were so obvious about it. I don't know. Maybe it's
Yeah,
just me. They were
well,
so obvious that it was Kyle. So obvious. They didn't even make it seem like Camilla is one of them, I feel like. They just I don't know. It just felt so obvious, and that's where you should always assume someone has the idol and never show that. In the other seasons, sure, that's where you're like in season 7 when we watch the other season, you're like, "Yep, you're out tonight. We're voting for you," because there's no advantage, nothing to worry about. But in this game, people should be worried about idol. I should assume that you might have one.
but I guess I thought they were doing a pretty good job with both of them. Like when one of them was with Kyle, I thought they said all the right things to him, and then the same respect when they were with Camilla. The only difference is we actually saw a scene with all 3 of them in Camilla. We did not see a scene with all 3 of them in
Yeah.
Kyle. I am willing to benefit of the doubt that they they did together talk to Kyle at some point.
Okay.
We didn't see it, so it's not canon. But I think it makes. I mean, if the plan should be make them both think that you're with them to prevent what happens happening. So I don't know that they would be so at the last second make a blunder like that. Because you're right,
So
like
what did
everyone knows about shot in the dark. Forget idols, like the person could have shot in the dark.
Yeah. And I'm a certified shot in the dark hater. So I'm shocked last episode it worked. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Mary, you're still alive. It's the fact that Mary, Say, and Cedric is still here. Meanwhile, Thomas is gone when their team has been so strong. It's kind of crazy. It's just to say, like, there's just all the twists, man. All the twists going on in the Survivor game.
I guess you could say it was a shock in the dark,
A
right?
shot in the dark. I love it.
So who so now, assuming tribes don't swap again, uh who are you putting your money on? The California girls with just 2 people or Kyle and Camilla? Who are you backing in a 2
Oh,
versus 2
you're just
showdown?
talking within the one tribe?
Just those. Oh,
Mhm.
definitely Camilla and Kyle. Like Camilla's got the extra vote. She has the power of 3 people. They have a power of 3 people for those 2 combined. So, unfortunately, I think if Vula keeps the streak of losing, it's over. If they're gonna take out Shaheen, and then Joe's gonna be next if they still have that, if they make it to merge. I'm hoping that's not the case because they are a majority of New Vula is actually in my current Survivor fantasy team. So I'm hopeful
Mm.
that's not the
Oh,
case.
no.
But this is scary for me as I lost my second member today, Thomas.
Don't make me pick, man. I got people on both sides. I, yeah, honestly, I it's hard to say. I can't make a decision this week. It's too early to say because obviously one side does have the advantage still with the extra vote, but Joe, man, Joe's got that eye of the tiger, and
I
Shaheen does not mess
know.
around. He's like stone
Ah,
faced all the time.
but
Joe, I thought
how are
was
they gonna do it? Ugh.
yeah. I mean, if it comes down to it, they could just win the next challenge, so might be a moot point. But Joe said something interesting actually during this episode where we got to see each of them talk to Camilla. But I really liked what Joe said. Joe had a level of self awareness, which he brought out, where he was saying that we've got all these physical guys, and that doesn't necessarily make for a winning team. We got to play smarter than that. We got to get people with all sorts of talents to be able to make a winning team. And the thing that I was saying earlier about Joe is, he's someone who probably has really good leadership qualities given his background. And he's someone who probably can leverage that, build relationships, and see how others should be around him. He has a level of that self-awareness that I think can both put you in danger, but can also take you out of danger. So in a sense, he's a sort of wild card who, even if he loses another tribe member, I think he has it in him to be able to stay another day. So that is to say that, even whoever loses a member, I don't think it would be over for either tribe if they necessarily lost another member within this new Vula tribe.
At this point, you just have to expect them to lose. It's just that's what Vula does. Vula loses.
Don't say that, Will. Come
Then
on. I'm having some hope. I'm hoping
Just
that's not it because I have too many people in my team.
yeah,
You,
we're gonna
of
buck the
course,
trend.
yeah, of course, Will would say it because I've seen that in Will's fantasy team, he picked Star. So and you don't. So
indeed.
I need to have you explain a little bit better on
And
why.
who had a great episode today?
Ah,
Star. Won the challenge. Did not become a target of anyone other than Eva, who
so
already didn't like her.
so how did you got to the point of picking Star? Will, I need to see your thoughts of why Star.
Well, okay, hey, I'll explain, but let's actually get to the new
Oh
tribes then.
yes,
We need
yes.
to actually talk about that. Uh, this the other big thing that happened here is babies first. Baby's
First.
first tribe swap. So
It's
this is
about time.
specifically when, rather than combine everyone, all tribes, into one, which is the merge, and instead of kind of like the pre-merge where you have to like it's one team versus another team, and whoever wins is safe, the other half isn't safe. We call it mergatory. So not that. This is take the tribes that we started with and just mix them up. Mix them up. What either stay the same number of tribes or go from 3 tribes to 2 tribes, 2 tribes to 3 tribes, just to scramble them all. That is the tribe swap. And in this case, we keep 3 tribes and we get pretty diverse setups here in terms of who goes where. So we already talked about Fula, which was Thomas, Shaheen, Joe, Kyle, and Camilla. We also get new Siva, Bianca, Cedric, Say, Mitch, and Chrissy. And on that new tribe, by the way, it turns out that it's Bianca who does not have any former tribe members because she has Cedric and Say on the tribe and Mitch and Chrissy on the tribe, and that's just her. So that's her challenge moving forward. And we get the new Lagi tribe of Charity, David, Eva, Star, and Mary. So on new Lagi, we feature Star, now a new member of my team, who still has the advantage, the Beware advantage, which she has not yet solved apparently. It might not have mattered for this particular Beware challenge or Beware advantage, but she does end up on the same beach, which could have mattered. Part of the clue is using like those colored the painted animal shapes to figure out the clue. So there's a scenario where she ends up on a different beach and gets screwed over because of that. But I think actually
Good
she's already
observation.
given up on those clues anyway. She's just trying different words. So maybe it wouldn't have mattered. But if she actually solves it one day, then she has the power of an idol. Very good. Also, her tribe, great performance. There's the new tribe. It looks bad at first, but they got through it. They have David, great athlete. Eva, also great athlete. So I think this tribe's gonna win, which is good for me. And when Star has her idol, that'll also be good for me.
So
Hey,
did you think that Star was gonna like I mean in the merge this anything could have happened in today's like not merge but like the team swap. Star could have been in Vula. That was very risky of you. But you know what? I like that you take the risk here.
Oh
But
yeah, no, we do what we have to do. We do what we have to do. Like,
making high
but
risk, high reward.
But look, let's focus on the IRL versus the fantasy here, because uh F at this being your first tribe swap, did you have any feelings on that? This is a change to the rules of the game as you knew it.
I did not like it, and especially this early on. I knew it had to be done with how badly Vulu was doing, but it just feels like a gut punch for the other two tribes. Lagi was dominant. Siva, I really liked Siva's vibe, to be able to see everyone just band together. And I'm still reminded of Camilla last episode when she revealed to her tribe that she actually got an advantage off the journey. She was saying that everyone in this tribe is just too damn honest. And I like that. So just being able to have a tribe that's able to work well together and have those good conversations, show trust in one another, trust that we, of course, see within this tribal. I think it adds some spice to the game, but it's just kind of a wake up call for the other tribes, where really it should just be Vula that needs a wake up call. It mixes things up for the others, and for some of them, it puts them in a disadvantage. Like it puts them in a bad state compared to where they were before, completely out of, like it's not something that they themselves are responsible for. So in a way, it did not feel like a fair swap, but it's one where if you're part of Survivor, you have to expect the unexpected and be willing to bring your A game each and every episode. So to be able to see how these guys work around building these new relationships, or trying to stab these other tribe members in the back, or their own tribe members in the back, it throws that into the mix and puts that into the forefront. So it's exciting to follow, but I don't like the concept of doing something like this early. I do like having a post merge, one big tribe. I like that. But I think something like this would definitely not have happened had Vula not been losing all their members right away.
That is an interesting, like, hypothetical. Was a tribe swap always in the cards, or did they change their mind after the same tribe lost 3 times in a row?
I would theorize this was planned because they lost 3 times in a row. Like, I think that was never really the plan, but hey, I'm not the producer, I'm not the people making this, but I think that's what they were gonna scramble for. Because how would 3 people win in these challenges? Like, they were just
Exactly.
probably like, "These people aren't gonna win," and to make it a little spice it up a little bit, mix it all up, do a little remix. And, I do agree with you, F, that, like, I feel bad for the other teams that they are getting to the short end of the stick, because in the end of the day, the 3 remaining Vulas are safe at this point. They are safe and they're fine and well, um, versus, like, if they didn't do the swap, one of those 3 were gonna go home today. It was obvious they were not gonna be winning any challenges. But
Right.
I do also think it is fun to see that, hey, we talk about the teams were really close, but there are some little cracks that they've been talking about. They're like the people that are like in a rough position are trying to like kind of pull themselves up. And even, I mean, New Vula, it was obvious a 3-2 number. It was obvious that the California girls wasn't going to win, but they didn't. And that made it exciting. And then seeing like Bianca stuck in a tribe where she has no vote, and she's also like the only one out trying to scramble to find other cracks, versus Star, seeing David and Eva, kind of forming a bond together. It was interesting. It's interesting to see how things are mixing, and that David and Charity aren't as close as they say they are. I thought it was really funny how Charity would be like, "Oh, David is so easy to like," but basically say like, he'll do anything. He's just basically from Charity's perspective, David's a like some just muscle, no
You
brains,
can
basically.
manipulate them.
All brawn, yeah, no brain. Versus then you cut into the scene of David just like, "Oh yeah, I don't want to work with Charity." Like, Charity, nah, nah, not her. So it's kind of interesting.
It had to be done. I think, yeah, you hit the point where it's hard to balance that if you're looking to do more challenges. This team has not had their flints. They're probably more exhausted than the other tribes. Their home base is not looking good. If they're not winning those first couple of challenges and then it becomes a recurring string of losses, you're not expecting them to turn things around at this point when they're more depleted, more tired, are missing some of their members. So it's a balancing act, and one where, like, the season just started, right? Like, you're not expecting a team to be down this many contestants, like all from one tribe right away without having a pause in between. So I think Jeff did what he needed to do, and it took away an opportunity for us to see a relationship that could have been built between Say and Mary, where they were finally what
Yes.
appears to be letting bygones be bygones.
I didn't think it was long term though. I feel like if they were in the same team, like they ended up in the same team, I feel like Say would not wanna work with Mary. I don't know. I just thought that was very short-lived. And with Say, she's very volatile, and I feel like you never know what you're gonna get from her. Um, I mean, just like how when, Bianca comes in and wants to be like, "Wanna work with you guys," and then she just was like, "Oh, you gotta feel for Cedric first," you know? Yeah, and
Immediately looking to throw him under the bus, forgetting
basically.
forgetting the
Yep.
fact that he kept her in, which it sucks, but then I don't really blame her. It's really just Cedric's mistake, and it's just funny to see on the flip side, Cedric is still not understanding that the loyalty he has with Say is not just fully there. So it just goes to show you that these are interesting interactions that we have now that wouldn't have occurred if everyone was on the same tribe. So
Yeah.
it's
Oh
both a
yeah.
good thing and a bad thing.
Now, I should specify that tribe swaps are by no means rare over 48 seasons, and they they have to happen like between the beginning of the game and the merge because once you're merged, there's nothing to swap to. So it would happen at this time, is what I'm saying, and there are many times when is it was always going to happen. It got so common that the people on the show, the castaways, would correctly predict when it was happening, and they made strategies with that in mind. For example, this is not at all what Cedric did, but people would like burn a bridge with a former ally or even an enemy on their own tribe without fearing the social consequence because they were certain that a tribe swap was about to happen. So it's like, but what? As long as we're not in the
Wow.
same tribe, I mean, like it's fine. So the this is
Risky.
not tribe swap does not. It's not like it happens only when a tribe gets like whittled down too low. It can happen when that happens. Sometimes not. Sometimes they just let the tribe lose forever. Uh, and in this case, it's hard to say. There's only really one other new era season that had a true tribe swap like the one we just saw. Um, ultimately, I definitely enjoyed this one. So as a bias to it
Mhm.
being a good episode, I I l- I like the swap. I acknowledge it creates the opportunity for being swap screwed, which is when the most egregious of it would be like I was part of a majority alliance on my tribe, and then I got swapped, and I was doing great, and then I get swapped to a tribe where I'm in the minority, and I immediately get voted out. That's usually what we refer to as being swap screwed. So I acknowledge that, but but Jeff, he's got me. He's tempted me with the idea of the new challenge, and especially now, there's a lot of tools out there that it. We just saw it. The minority in this case had weapons at their disposal, and their enemies also had weapons at their disposal, and they fought it out, and we saw who came out on top. I like that. I think I'm comfortable with my opinion here. Like particularly in the current era, I enjoy a tribe swap
Well, and
and a
it
very
sounds
low
like you're
sample
proud
size.
to say that.
Yeah, I tried to. I know. I suspect like if we did a poll on this, people don't like tribe swaps, But that's just like everyone's gonna feel like old school Survivor is best. Anything new, I don't want. I don't want fire making. I don't want tribe swaps. I don't want advantages. Some people don't even want idols. So I suspect that's what like the majority of people how they feel.
I would tell you it's context dependent too, right? Like if you have a tribe like Siva, I really like the vibes of Siva. But if you had if you consistently had tribes where they did not really get along with each other, like not even necessarily the whole tribe, but the dynamic within even some key members was very out there, kind of like it is in Bula. I probably would be more receptive towards a tribe swap to just say, hey, okay, well, these guys are not able to get along. The relationship they're trying to build is not working, and it's just boring to watch. I want to see how they operate in a different environment. That's a case where, yeah, watching a tribe swap would be very cool, very interesting, just to see how that dynamic works. What are your thoughts, Ange?
Oh, I kind of agree with you on that in terms of the swap and depending on how they do in that situation, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just like if the chemistry is not there, that's where I'm thinking it's not a bad idea to do a tribe swap.
But at what point do you think is the chemistry bad? Like, how would you make that call, that judgment call?
You can't do it off one episode, but if you
Oh, like
see, this is a good example of like Bula again. Like it's a good example of they're continuing to lose for multitude of reasons, but they're not even able to come up with a clear plan in order to win challenges, in order to just have dialogues with each other. It like everything is just a mess, right? If you
yeah.
have tribes, I'm sure there's more tribes like that, maybe not to this extent, but you might have tribes where it doesn't seem like anyone likes each other, or they're all kind of isolated, doing their own thing. Is that really truly a tribe? I would like to see maybe members in that tribe test their hand in a different environment.
I see. I would like to also say, like, in the very beginning, Vula has been given a really bad set of cards. I feel like it doesn't take a genius to figure out which tribe was the one that isn't the most, like, physically, like, they didn't seem the most physical out of all the 3 tribes, and I can't help but think, like, when you're already on the losing tribe, things are, high stress, you're scared to be voted out, it's hard to create a good environment, and then you lose another one because, again, you are, 1, dwindling your numbers, and 2, you're not strong compared to the other ones. They were just dealt with such a bad card in the very beginning, from day 1. It doesn't allow for any good alliance making, any good vibes. So I'm just, like, curious when they made all these tribes together, like, what was the thought? Like, how did they put these guys together? What were they thinking about, Like, is it me, or did you guys feel that, like, physically it felt like Vula was all like, the tribe that would have lost?
Well, I think they took that bad hand they were dealt and lit it on fire
Made
Yes.
it worse.
by voting
Yeah,
out Kevin and then
I
voting
was
out
gonna say.
Justin, and
Yeah.
that's why we feel if we didn't swap, it would have continued going bad.
Yes.
So, uh, I think it's almost entirely their fault.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so you
agree.
don't
Uh,
think it's from the beginning, it's just they have caused it getting made it worse from the beginning.
I could see what you're saying in terms of, yeah, like it doesn't look like they have a lot of physicality on their team, but Will's absolutely right in this in terms of they have the opportunity to, if you're going to tribal, if you have to cut the numbers anyway, try to be efficient with it. Try to see if, okay, what is our best approach as a team? This is where I'm going back to how Joe is thinking about things in terms of, hey, we got physical people, but we also need people who are intelligent who can maybe work on puzzles, right? You're not just going to have one type that wins everything. You need to have that balance. And for us, if we're getting rid of Steph first, okay, we don't really know what she provides. We didn't really get to see it. But hey, we see Say is actually trying to take charge here. Is she doing a good job? Can't really say it's just one episode. Not too much to extrapolate on. But Kevin, obviously, he's probably the guy with the best physicality on that tribe. He gets injured, so like not his fault. But
that's
then,
fair. Injury, maybe he was the weakest to be honest. Like
right?
I didn't consider that.
But again, I mean, it's something where participated in a journey. Like, he didn't really let it negatively affect him, and he won his journey. So it's a case of look at that and try to see, how do you want your tribe to keep moving forward? Do you cut the fat, or do you just try to target whoever for whatever reason? I don't feel like Kevin was fairly targeted, and I say this as someone who didn't select them, but it's like that target just left me very puzzled, where they had a clear
Yes.
opportunity again at say, but not to like rehash this again and again, but like just to cut it short. So I think a lot of it has been self-inflicted. If they thought through in terms of their team dynamic, how they wanted to set it up, how they wanted to work towards getting their own idols if one got eliminated, someone who had an idol, they had opportunities for that. They just did not make the best assessment themselves from an outside perspective.
Yeah, that's fair. I see what you're saying. I see what you guys are pointing out for that. It's just kind of interesting because I feel like in the very beginning, I just felt like, there is a specific tribe that wasn't gonna do well, and that just kept going on and on and on. So just sad to see, but on to new things.
Well, take a look at this challenge. This challenge, I would think that the new Vula tribe probably had the best physicality for it, and they actually had the early lead. But did they end up winning? No.
No. It's
So
crazy. I'm very happy that, like, Loggy was the one that was behind, right? And then in the end, they got it, and I'm very happy for them. It's an interesting tribe, the dynamic, seeing Eva and David, being close friends was kind of interesting. Speaking of David, I have a little moment here from my off the island talk. So last
Ooh.
episode, I was not here to talk about it, but I was excited to talk about it slightly when it came to David and his quote unquote girlfriend. Last episode, it felt like David was saying, hey, it's $1 million, or I go home with $1 million, or I go home single, alone with nothing. This episode, we come in, he's saying that he's got a girlfriend and they broke up. So during when we were watching it, I was like, are they dating or are they not dating? What's going on? So my question for you two is, if you guys were going on Survivor and your significant other broke up with you, are you gonna consider this as a ex-girlfriend girlfriend situation? Like, how are you explaining this? Like, at what degree are we gonna call your girlfriend an ex, or are we gonna call them a girlfriend that broke up with you?
that's
Well,
that's a good
well,
question.
do I want to get back together like David does?
Well, I guess your plan is if you win $1 million, I guess in this case, yes. But she broke up with you
Ooh.
though. She broke
See,
up with you.
that's the problem. Like if I want to impress her with winning the reality show and bringing back $1 million, or even like the lower winnings of second or third place, but if she broke up with me and I act like we're still together, like just picture she's watching the show and like after the fact, and I can't tell her what happened, or else I risk breaching contract and forfeiting any money I might have gotten. So she's, even if I'm the winner, she's gonna see that first. Uh, I think the answer is just don't talk about your exes.
Yeah.
You're just gonna not talk about your ex at all. Nothing.
And in my case, she would still be the ex, because if she broke up with me, right? Like, obviously, if I'm very attached to her, it's going to be hard to just move on right then and there. But I'm on this island now. I'm trying to just get my head in this game. If I'm serious about winning this, I have to move on, regardless of what I'm trying to win for. It's one of those things where if she's moved on, like, I have to be willing to move on too. Otherwise, like, that's not a healthy relationship on my part, where, I'm trying to, I don't know how things would have ended for them. It's not something that has been touched upon much, but if I was in David's shoes, I like, it sounds like there's still something there based on how he's talking about her and how he's coming to her defense himself. So maybe that's what he's talking about, that there's an opportunity rather than something where she's moved on and he hasn't. But I think realistically for me, if I was in his shoes, it doesn't seem healthy to be able to linger on to that. No matter how long that relationship was, it hurts. But at some point, you have to rip the Band-Aid off and say, okay, I have to move on, because this wouldn't be healthy for her too if I'm trying to do this for her and she herself is just trying to move on.
But don't
Gotcha.
you think taking it off the island isn't this kind of romantic? Like, I'm gonna win for you. Like, I'm gonna like I know you don't like me right now, but let me like do this grand gesture. Isn't this like on TV? The guy goes outside the girl's house with
That's
either he's
true
got
with the
flowers, he's
yes.
got music, you go sing, do
But is this
something.
the grand gesture of telling national TV that, like, my girl broke up with me and my goal, and because she wants to be a stay-at-home mother of 4 kids and I can't give her that, but I'm gonna come back with $1,000,000 and she's coming back to me. Is that grand gesture? Like, I feel like I feel like I would be dying. I would be like, "Oh my gosh, you just told the entire world I'm just trying to get money." I'm like, I'm a little gold digger.
Just
That's what I
just
feel like.
putting it out there.
Well,
Yeah.
look, that's why you didn't add that to the scenario. You're
Okay,
just
okay,
saying,
okay,
am
okay.
I is she is he or she my ex, or are we still dating in this scenario? So I
Yes,
think I
that's fair.
acknowledge
And
that
it,
if you actually are broken up, then yes, X for now. But the plan A is still the grand gesture is winning. Like, let's just like someone went out and won it with the intention of like sharing the money with you. You're not even in a relationship anymore, and they still intend to.
Mm.
Like,
Is this
if he wins, it's worth it. I'll tell you, it's. I
what if
think
he doesn't though? What if he doesn't even make the merge? But he said this all, the grand gesture is granding without the physicality of the money. Is this enough for you? Now you're the girlfriend sitting at home, or you're the boyfriend, and your
okay.
significant other
Well,
is out there
if
and saying all this stuff, but there's
so
nothing to
so
bring.
so first of all, if I need the money, then unfortunately you still don't have the money. But maybe the scenario is not so extreme where like we like absolutely need it. Um, I think I don't think it's enough. I think the allure of the like being success it's like calling your shot, being really successful and coming through, and like you're watching a potential celebrity be born. I could be with a celebrity. I think it would
Will
work.
is
Will's like
yeah,
Will is
Will
now
is
pulling himself back, and he's like, "Maybe
yeah,
I'm down."
Will is saying X dot 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 question mark.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Will is like, "Maybe you're right. We don't have to be exes no more."
Maybe they don't even have to win. Maybe, yeah, now they have all this clout. It's that's all you need, right? But
I'm sending those vibes to David and David's significant other. I'm hoping for the best for them.
yeah,
Really the plan should have been uh that he should have just I mean this would take a lot of like camera training and social media training to act like I'm about to say, but you would want to say, look, I failed her. I couldn't support us, and because of that, we're not together. So I'm trying to fix my mistake. If you phrase it like that, that's probably the best chance to not because you're right. If he suddenly what he said is not ideal. So, but I think phrasing it my way should overcome the talking about it on TV if he wins or he does well. Let's just say like he does well enough to be a star, celebrity, win money, etc.
right.
Yeah.
It feels odd to say, but there is that saying, because they're not in a relationship, but there's that saying that distance makes the heart grow fonder. So, could be one of those situations where time spent away from him allows her to reassess things. Again, I don't know if it's something where she has truly moved on, but I just had this
Yeah,
funny
we
thought
don't
in
know.
terms of, if Justin somehow got a hold of this knowledge that, oh, she's single now, huh?
Oh my
Maybe
goodness.
that's why he left the show. Maybe that's why he was so quick to go back to his pizza shop
Wait.
and not
Oh my
and
god.
not stay
Oh,
another week
Wait,
with
the
me,
drama. That would be
right?
so much drama, F. Oh my goodness.
Justin's
Just
like,
in case. He's like, just in case you're still single.
yeah,
Get it?
Justin's like,
Just
"Oh,
in case.
okay, David's out of the picture now. Now I got a chance."
that would be tea. That would be hot tea for the Survivor people for sure.
And you tell me, Will, who would you choose in that case? Would you choose the guy who owns what is he, a
Who
pizza
owns the
manager, or
pizza
does he
restaurant?
own the chain?
I think he's a
Or
pizza manager.
or David, who has the potential to win $1 million?
Ooh.
Well, wait a minute. Like at that point, I don't know if neither of them can tell me if they won.
No,
So
this
I
is
guess
something where Justin is out.
okay. He has forfeited all the money. He just told me he's out. I see.
Yep.
Even though he barely won anything. I wouldn't actively choose Justin like for any reason. It would just be like if by coincidence I met Justin and we hit it off. Like I'm not holding
Imagine
out
all the
for it.
pizza you could get for free.
Yeah, like I'm not holding out for someone who I don't even know if he's successful yet, and we are currently not together for sure. But there's not like I have a plan to go straight to Justin. Very interesting topic. Thanks for bringing up the scenario.
No, I hope you guys enjoyed the first little bit of Off the Island talk.
Yep,
Now this is unplanned, but the In the Hands of the Fans vote is out right now, and I'm thinking or at least I'm gonna do it right now, and you guys could give your thoughts. The 3 things to vote on are one of them is what the final 4 immunity challenge is gonna be, which one of them, I guess I'm going to describe it to you. So one of them is all these are kind of classic challenges. One of them is you've got a puzzle in front of you, like you have to build. Let's just say it was a Survivor logo, and you so that big oval. It's going to be standing up vertically, and you have to build the puzzle pieces. Not too hard, right? But first you have to throw a ball up this plinko board type of thing. It's going to bounce down, and you need to rush back to catch it before it hits the ground. Throw it back up, and then go back to your puzzle. And you could stay at your puzzle as long as you want to, but if you let the ball actually hit the ground, either you get eliminated or you get a penalty, you have to wait along, etc. So it's like a timing-based challenge. So that's one of them. Another one is like this classic, it wouldn't be a relay race because it's individual, but it's like a series. You're running through a really long obstacle course, essentially.
Is there mud involved?
As a matter of fact, there is. Yes.
Then no. No. I hate the mud challenges.
And the other one is, I don't know if either of you've seen Submotion, but do you remember you would go to the supermarket and there's like a gumball machine, and you put in the quarter, and then like the gumball rolls on like a roller coaster looking thing.
Oh, yeah. I know that one. Yes.
Yep.
So it's that, and your job is you're gonna drop a ball at the top. It's gonna roll around, and then there's a switch in the track, so it's either gonna go to your left or to your right at the end, and you need to catch the ball when it comes out. When you catch it, you put it back on the top and repeat the process. And then every now and then you put a second ball. So now there's 2 rolling in there, and you've got to catch both of them and put them up. And then eventually there's 3 balls rolling around. You got to catch all of them and put them up. And this keeps going until everybody messes up except one, and the last person standing wins.
Can you use both hands or just one hand only?
It's been different. I think sometimes you can use 2. Sometimes one hand's tied behind your back, so you only have one hand.
I actually like the sound of that one.
Me too. I am digging Gumball Machine.
Gumball Machine. Funny enough, that's one of the most legendary challenges, like I said, called Submotion.
Submotion? It's called? Yep. Submotion. Okay.
I think I liked the we go classic Submotion. It's just too much of a classic. All right, so we're gonna vote for that. That one's probably gonna win. There's a question about advantages. It says advantages are an exciting way to give players the power to influence the game. How much power do you want advantages to have in Survivor 50? Your choices
Oh.
are dynamic power. I want to amplify the impact and fun of advantages so they offer enough power to shake up the game so that even players on the bottom have a fighting chance. That's one of the options. Another one is strategic power. I want advantages that are just powerful enough to create some uncertainty and risk, adding a layer of complexity for the players to deal with. And lastly, minimal power. I want advantages to be rare and limited in power, forcing the players to rely primarily on their strategic, social, and physical abilities.
Let's go chaos route. I like dynamic.
You want dynamic power. All the power.
I was gonna go crazy too with dynamic. I thought that would be nice. I like the fact that the bottom people have a chance, you know?
Yep.
I think that would be cool.
That's funny. See, I actually probably would have chosen. I like that there's if there was a 0 power, I'm sure people would have voted for that. I think I would have picked the bottom option though, minimal power.
Minimal power.
I like the idea of like it matter like but then again, do I trust like my idea is they're rare and so it's meaningful when someone has it, whereas now like everyone has someone's gonna have an advantage every episode. But I kind of don't trust. Like I feel like I don't trust how they execute it. If, with your permission, I would like to compromise with the strategic power option, which is the middle option.
Mm. So would you say currently it's strategic? Like the current season, is this strategic or dynamic? So I know like what do
Uh,
they mean? Like what is dynamic? What to what
I
point?
mean, who knows what Jeff means? This
Okay.
is
I
very
didn't need
subjective.
okay.
But
I was gonna say.
my guess would be it's at high power, dynamic power right now.
Okay, okay, so currently the current seasons, it's dynamic. Okay. Because I wasn't sure, like, it's currently strategic, and then there's a dynamic where, like, all of a sudden, all over the place, it's gonna have, like, 3
I
immunity
mean,
idols, and everyone can
the
gather
truth
one.
is because this is so subjective, I don't even know if this vote's gonna matter. Like
Oh,
Jeff can
that's
just
fair.
choose to interpret it the way he wants it to be.
Yeah. Truthfully, if you as you mentioned, like, if there was no power, I think I actually would go the other route. As much as I went for chaotic dynamic, if there was, like, no power, I think it'll be so cool, but nobody knows, and everyone's searching. Like, that would be so funny.
That would be funny. A season full of like
By the
false
way,
idols.
Yes, yes.
you took too long, and I voted for strategic power.
No! No, I'm kidding.
I mean, to be fair, you could just go online and vote yourself. But
Yeah, you know what? I'll vote right now
Uh,
as we speak.
the last choice, funny enough, it says to switch or not to switch. It's what it sounds like. Do you want them to switch tribes like you just watched, or do you not? And if I
Yeah.
remember correctly, both of you. I mean, now we can see put your money where your mouth is. You said both of you. I think that you preferred it not to switch.
Yeah, I would stay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, no switches. Let's just keep it at it. With dynamic power, I'm hoping that, they
Yeah, let's
will stay
commit.
alive, you know? Yeah. I'll
And
commit with
that
yeah.
dynamic power might be give like you can choose to switch with one tribe member, right? Like
That would be crazy. Or you're like, "Oh, I don't wanna be in the, this challenge today, but I want someone else to take over for me." But it's another tribe. And if they lose, that's you gotta go to
Well,
it's your turn.
I take your opinions and I disregarded them. And I voted for Switch. But that's because it's my vote. I'm you vote in your own votes.
I want
But
crazy
I see
power.
what you're
Like, if they were gonna do dynamic, I want something different. I don't want just, like, basic immunity idol and take a vote, like, get a new
you want
vote,
Jeff
swap
to
a
turn them
vote.
into gods so that like they're
all I will say on this is be careful what you ask for. And are any of your 10 seasons, season 41 or 42, where you
I
may or may not have seen the
don't
mystical
recall.
power of the hourglass?
Oh, I
ooh,
do remember
spoiler.
that. You know what? Bring it back, baby. Bring it back.
chaos.
I
Oh my
do
gosh.
remember that. Oh yeah, that you just
This
kind of
is your.
like sparked a
Oh,
little memory in my mind
oh
of
my
like,
god.
was it
You
2021,
you don't
2020?
even realize the amount of power I'm talking about here, Will. I want something so broken that when other contestants hear about it, when someone unveils it, someone audibly just goes like, "What the fuck? Like, what are we doing?"
What the F? It's the
Yeah.
Survivor F.
What? Yes.
I like that you're both consistent on it, and I respect it. All right, thanks for indulging me on that. I just because we saw that commercial, I wanted to check if the voting was up, and it is. Do
Awesome.
either of you have anything else you want to bring up?
Well, I was gonna say it's time to get future focused. How about that?
Ooh.
So what are you looking forward to in the next episode now that we've seen our first little switcheroo here?
I am curious to see what is going to happen with. Actually, I'm going to focus on, or my future focus is going to be more on Say. Interestingly enough, to see what Say's going to do with her new home, new tribe. Is she going to work with Bianca, or is Bianca going to kind of like read into it and be like, "Ooh, this is not really a good one to work with," or maybe they actually work really well with. I don't know.
Well,
I'm
I can tell you
curious.
one thing, Say is gonna have a lot to say, and that is gonna be a
Lots to
recurring thing that
say.
I'm gonna keep I feel like I'm gonna keep saying that as long as she's still a
Oh
contestant.
my
I'd
gosh.
appreciate. I am fine with all these fun puns, but you gotta keep iterating here. You can't keep the same material all season long. So I respect the puns, but
Okay, I'll take that
you
challenge.
gotta,
Yeah, you
you
know what?
gotta,
I'll
gotta,
add
gotta
more
keep it up.
next episode. Just wait. I'm gonna have some more in there. The star of the show would be all the puns.
I I am gonna watch Star because everyone is questioning my strategy, and I think it's disrespectful. You should have more faith in your fantasy commissioner, and I am eager to watch her mop the floor with her, at least in terms of fantasy points. So that's what I'm looking for in the future.
For me, Eva's progression continues to be interesting to me, where she's still around, she's still in what appears to be a pretty competitive tribe, but she just came out and threw Star under the bus right away. I don't know how her tribe is gonna react to that, whether they're gonna try to understand what she means, but it does look like she's found a new friend in David, so is he gonna be able to have that same dynamic that she was able to have with Joe? That's left to be seen, but she's kind of burning some of those bridges as she's seeing these new people, and I think there's a lack of understanding from her in terms of what she's saying. She doesn't mean some of the things that she's saying. That's the sense that I get in a negative way, but how she says it can be interpreted very negatively. So I think she has moments where she's more blunt than she needs to be, but it's like it comes off innocently. It's not something where it's like she's just doing that on purpose. So can it be a strategy for her unintentionally? It can be. So she's got an interesting path forward, is what I'll say.
Fair enough. Can't wait for the battle between Eva and Star, and Eva to get tossed out.
No.
Can't
Already picking
wait.
favorites. Okay. Well,
So that brings us to the end of another episode, another really good one. I'm curious if we're gonna keep the momentum. This can this can be like the in between this time and the merge can create a lull. So we'll see how it goes. But I got optimism. But that's all we got this time. Thanks everyone for listening. Until we speak again,